Hey everyone, welcome back to another Mara stock chart planning update video. On this video specifically, I want to focus on the bullish structure. I want to make it a bit more, I want to go over it again. I want to make it a bit more clear. I want to, um, make sure we're on the same page when it comes to what structure we're looking at, if we're discounted, if we're still in the premium, what can we look forward to, especially knowing that interest rate cuts are coming soon and that we've been sort of in a consolidation phase for a while, and we've also been trading around this support area for a while too. So I'm going to break a few things down, including someone, and I'm gonna say who he is in a moment. I'm gonna go over what he was talking about in a moment, but in the Discord server, I have a member that he sent me some really interesting charts. It's something I never really looked into. It's something I want to research, and but it looks real good, and I want to share that with you guys. But real quick before we get into that, everything in this video is just my own personal opinion and it's not financial advice. This is just a way for me to express my views on what asset we're going to be covering, and in no means am I telling anyone or recommending anyone to buy, sell, or hold any assets. I'm not a professional. I'm just a guy on YouTube expressing his opinions on whatever asset we'll be covering today. But yeah. So with that out the way, if you guys um want to know what I was talking about, was there's a member in my Discord community. There's a link to my website down below, and there's a free invite to the Discord community there. But his name is J8890 underscore. He's been hanging out for quite some time now, and he's a very intelligent fellow, just like many other intelligent fellows that we have in the community as well. Um, that you can all meet if you jump into the community in the Discord. But basically, he shared with me, and I'm gonna put a picture of it up here as I talk. So I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with death crosses on stock charts or crypto charts. It's not something I'm going to go over too much just because I am like still researching it, but it's called an imminent death chart. I can't pronounce that word, but supposedly it's a very bullish indicator, right? I believe it's when the 200-day moving average and the 50-day cross. Um, and I think that's when the 200-day moving average begins to trade above the 50-day, I believe. Again, I'm gonna do more research on this soon. But last time this happened, the Mara stock went up quite a bit, really nicely, and then it looks like it's starting to happen again, right? Because it doesn't seem like these indicators or these moving averages tend to get real close to each other, and when they do, they cross, and that causes a lot of like buying to occur. Of course, this isn't a direct correlation on why the buying is happening, and it doesn't. This doesn't guarantee that there will be some really good bullish moves happening, but it is a very strong indicator, and it does have some history behind it to prove it. But yeah, I'm gonna do more research on that. So Jay, I really appreciate it. Like this is something that I should cover, or I should learn about, because there's definitely a lot of people talking about this on social media, on YouTube, and it's something I want to um, learn about. But yeah, with that being said, that also started to, and this is what the purpose of this video is going to be today as well. So with that potential very bullish death cross happening on Mara, uh, it's happening at a really interesting time, right? So that it's happening where those moving averages are crossing just before interest rate cuts. 20 we're like 19 days away from the first interest rate cut, which is either going to be a 0.25 or a 0.50. Regardless, if it does happen, which it's expected to, very strongly expected for it to happen, regardless of the recent GDP reports that came out. A you know, there's a lot of bullishness that's approaching us real soon, and I'm not saying that right when they cut rates we're going to go up. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that real soon we're seeing a lot of bullish momentum being built right now. That's going to just explode a lot of these assets a lot higher real soon, right? And we can see a lot of the assets we cover in this channel much higher by the end of the year as well. Um, so I'm gonna like be addressing this video towards people that are willing to hold on to positions conservatively with the proper risk tolerance, but people that are looking to hold on to positions for the next like 3 months, right? Because we're gonna jump into the 9th month, which is September, so it's really like 3 months left, right? Or like 3 to 4, something like that. Either way, um, with that being said, right, we want to understand Bitcoin's short-term chart real quick, right? So on a previous video, I drew out this square right here, and this square is a overlapping area that's both factored in with the retracement from up here to down here, from down here to here, as well as from the top of the third wave all the way to the bottom of the fourth wave. There's a lot of overlap in this area right here, which is making me believe that there is strong support in this area. And of course, it's in the discounted half of the retracement. There's also support right around here as well. The 0.35 right here is a really good support area. It kind of mixes previous resistance here that turns into support, and then potentially continued support as well. And we are in an overall larger, it starts from back here. We're in an overall large picture triangle pattern, and we're in a triangle pattern in the short term as well, right down here. And coincidentally, the support of this smaller short-term triangle pattern does fall in line with our support square, this area that I'm really trying to focus on, right? So I'm gonna actually extend this more to the right. So with this being said, I'm not saying that this support area is super strong. Most likely the 0.35 is a much stronger support area, and then this smaller gap down here. But what I'm saying is that Bitcoin does seem to be potentially building a higher low, like pathway right here. We saw higher low here or here, and then one here, and then we see this another higher low here, which is a more significant swing low than this swing low right here. So it makes sense that we have 3 higher lows after this swing low right here, and then we're starting to potentially move up higher, and we're going to retest not just the 0.618, but we're going to try to retest this up here. So this area up here, right here, that line, this is going to be a very important resistance area, because if we can surpass that line, even the slightest amount, it means that we are making another higher low. So we have like, another higher high. So we have a higher high here, and then we have another higher high here, right? So if we can make that happen, we can easily see another higher high. It's going to build even further bullish momentum and towards the top of the larger triangle pattern resistance line, right? And how that correlates with Mara, right, which is the focus of this video, is I'm going to go over a few extra things as well. It's not loading. Okay, there we go. Now it's loading. Oh, it's starting to lag or something. I don't know what's going on. But we understand that potentially, right? Potentially, this weekend is sort of muted. As we're speaking, Bitcoin isn't showing like real short term within the day. It's not really showing too much bullishness. So we can potentially right, see the week start off a little bit weak, right? So we can see the price retest real briefly, still that around that $15.75 mark for Mara, and then it can push up higher, or it can push up higher from here, which is also very appropriate because there is a support right there. So it's still possible. Ideally, I would like to see this dip just early into the market after tomorrow. It's Monday, and then if we can see just a quick brief intraday low, tapping into this area right here, which is if we can see like a 6% drop, that's going to be a better scenario for me personally, because it's going to make things a lot more clear, and it's going to create a lot more how do you say a better buying opportunity as well. It's going to be a more clear buying opportunity than it is right now. And then we can start retesting the first green 0.35 level right here, which is an indicator if we're going to start moving higher or not, right? I've said this in many other videos before. I have 3 levels of confirmation. I'm not going to go over it in this video. You can find that in a lot of other videos, but my first level of bullish confirmation is I want to see a sustained, I want to see the price ideally just hit the 0.5 and then somewhere in this area begin to consolidate, show price strength. And what I mean by price strength is I want to see buyers holding strong, and we're not seeing like sustained dips below the 0.35, right? So we want like right here. So we the price went up super briefly, and then it quickly got rejected. And then we're and then we let me I'm starting all right now. Jeez. So we got rejected. It didn't hold above it, and then we came back down. We tried retesting, got rejected right away, and then we fell back down. We surpassed this small little swing low right here, which could potentially, right? Because if you were to think about it, right, and it's like a more larger, like institutional buy point where there's value, there's as of right now, if you were to think about it, right, there's a value gap right here, right? There's an imbalance where we have this. Let me get a little closer. We have the low of this candle here and the high of this candle here. We have this imbalance, which was sort of acting as a magnet, right? And then looking further into date, right here, we reached this imbalance gap, right? We reached it, and now we're starting to move lower. One thing that's making me believe that we could potentially see that one more low is because we came up to this imbalance area, so that was a good, idea to start selling. And then when we started coming back down, we made a lower low from this low right here, where you haven't seen a break of structural or even any kind of like liquidity, like social liquidity scenario. So we can easily see prices continue to trend back into the red short term, right? Short term. And then later on, once Bitcoin finally starts breaking up higher and having new structures forming to the upside, then that's when we can see Mara finally return back into this green level and begin trading from there, right? So this is why it's very important to be very cautious right now, understanding that Mara is a very bullish stock for this bull cycle. I'm expecting like if you guys been watching me for a while, I'm expecting at a minimum this stock to be at very conservatively somewhere in 2025, where when Bitcoin's like topping out and it's getting towards the end of the bull cycle, where it's it's starting to form a top. At a minimum, I'm expecting Mara to be at $45. If you want to be conservative but still have a good amount of upside, you can say $40. There's nothing wrong with that. But this green level up here for my bull market cycle top for this stock is based off of the start of the first wave to the top of the third wave, and then bringing it back down to what our current fourth wave is using just a very simple fib extension tool, right? And then that's how I got this area right here. It makes a lot of sense just to wrap up this video, because if you guys were to look at the bigger picture, right? Every bull market cycle top, we see a lower high in Mara, right? That's because, I've said this a lot many times before, but Mara is a very young company. They need to take on large short-term risk that can hurt their stock short-term for the first 20 years, because Mara is not 20 years old. It's just over 10 years old, but we can see about another decade of shares being watered down and all that, because they're still trying to grow. There's a lot of building that Mara needs to do before they can become much more sustainable and much more steady. It's a very young company. It's in its early stages still. Like, this is something that a lot of people need to understand. So with that being said, this area is much lower than the previous 2020 bull market cycle top high, right? So that falls in line. So if Bitcoin could reach like 150,000 at least, right? Conservatively speaking, a very conservative top for Bitcoin, like 150,000, we should see the price, around that $45 level. But this can take easily between like 13 to 15 months to happen. So this isn't like something that's gonna happen short term, or like relatively speaking, it's not gonna happen like now or soon. But it can take like 13 to 15 months. It can take like easily over a year for this to happen, and that's what I'm expecting it to do. But when it comes to short term, right, understanding the bullish picture one more time, I actually don't think I broke this down. But if you were to take the size so far of the the beginning of the bull structure, right, the beginning of this bullish structure is right here, and then the top of it so far is right here, like $34 basically. If you were to take half of that, right, which is where this purple line is, this purple line divides premium and discount. So the reason that I shared with you guys again one more time, the reason I shared with you guys Jay's this chart he shared with me is because this death cross is happening perfectly with interest rate cuts coming up soon. Bitcoin is finally starting to go like finish this like rut that it's in, where it's like kind of like consolidating a lot and not showing too much bullishness. Um, when it comes to like finally reaching to all-time highs again, we have all these things happening at the same time. The presidential election, which I'm not getting into politics, but it's a big factor for Bitcoin. And excuse me, but this is all happening very very like, I think that death cross that Jay showed me hasn't happened just yet, I believe. Um, but it's all basically happening at the same time, and I find that freaking amazing. And then especially Bitcoin mining revenue is starting to recover. Like it's getting there, and like this is again, guys, it's all happening like New Year's, 2024, 2025. New Year's is gonna be crazy. Like I'm like very excited to see where Bitcoin and Mara is gonna be at, and MicroStrategy and so on. Um, 3 months from now, right? So it's 3 to 4 months if you want to consider, a little bit of January as well. But yeah, it's very, very, very exciting, and I hope you guys are being patient. I hope you guys understand the opportunity that we have here in front of us with many different assets, but you are also understanding the short-term risk involved with a lot of these assets, including if you guys are buying Mara specifically just to take advantage of the Bitcoin upside. It will probably be a better choice if you guys buy the, spot Bitcoin itself, or buy like an IBIT, like an ETF, or like a leveraged ETF like BITU, which I own. I think that's a better play if you just want Bitcoin profit. Mara is different, right? This isn't something you should just hold on to or go too heavy on just to take profit off of Bitcoin. There's other options for that. Mara is more of a very short-term, fluctuative play as of right now to take advantage of Bitcoin fluctuations, right? As well as what the macroeconomic news in the United States looks like as well, right? So it's two different things, right? But yeah, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Hope this video made sense, and yeah, take care.